Hey, you're just in time. Welcome to Cafe Champloo. The year was 2023. We were watching Xbox's game showcase, hoping to see some great games that would release soon. Unfortunately for us, soon is a little subjective. But we did see some great games, with one in particular stealing the show.
I remember sitting there like, yo, this is Louisiana through and through. I'm born and raised Louisiana, uh, kind of country city boy. So to see uh, the swamp and then the gator, the voodoo, and all that stuff, it was really really cool. To feel like I'm in the game, like I'm being represented in the game. So I was already hype about that. So getting the chance to play it, it was amazing.
And then you see Hazel, our main character, and I'm like, oh, I was like, oh, I'm excited. Like, I didn't know anything about it. I'm like, ooh, it's got some eeriness to it. You hear the Louisiana music, you see the swamp, and you're like, I'm interested. I was very, very interested.
That the game was just super black without being like stereotypical. It was just more so like you felt the culture in the actual game.
As you've heard, this trailer was oozing with culture and style. But what really sold me was Hazel. As soon as Hazel walked in, I saw everything I needed to see. It's pretty rare to have a black woman lead a video game, let alone a southern black woman. I feel like 99.9% of black stories about the South are about struggle and hardship, which, given the history, is fair. But that pain also helped form a culture that uplifted its people through song, dance, food, and more. For DDS, it was the soundtrack that spoke to him.
So I'm like supposed to be doing things to get to the climax of that chapter, the ending point or whatever. And I'm sitting there like, yo, I kind of just want to stand still and listen to the music. Like the music was just the one of the greatest things about the music in the game is you're playing and the music pulls you more into the game. Like it sets the tone, it sets the mood, it sets the environment. So you're playing the game, and because the music starts doing the right tempo, the right beat, the right sound or whatever, it pulls you into the game. It makes you feel like, okay, this is about to be crazy. And sometimes it'll be something real small. You're like, oh, that was all it was. But the music makes you get so into the game, and just the music selection. I like the fact they had original music in the game. That was really really cool. Like I am trying everything in me to not go buy the vinyl soundtrack. I want it that bad. I need them to send it to me.
Yeah.
But nah, it was so much fun.
For Luby, it was the guidance from an urban legend. What was your most memorable moment while playing? Or it could be like a few different things if it's hard to pick.
I would say that's a good game. I don't know. The catfish, of course. When we finally got to see him.
I'm curious, like, what about the catfish was so exciting to you or was interesting to you?
I think honestly the voice reminds me of like Ray from Princess and the Frog. And it gave me a sense of, I want to say, appreciation, because Princess and the Frog, she's a frog for like the entirety of the movie. So to see Hazel actually be Hazel and also still have that like animal spirit guide, I feel like that's what really made it like, okay, I like the catfish.
You know, that's fair. That's a good point. For me, the big flood at the start of the game was masterfully used as a medium for Hazel's community, Prospero, to come together. Meeting the neighbors and seeing Southern hospitality on display made me think of my family and how we support each other through hard times. The other side of meeting Hazel's community is learning about their traumas and how they shaped each person. For Christine, these stories were able to provide healing for pain long forgotten.
I have a couple memorable moments. The more, I would say cathartic, less sad, more cathartic moment, or more memorable moment for me. And I talk about it a few times even after playing the game on my channel, about how the story arc where she's going to find Molly, right?
Mhm.
So this is before she actually is approaching Molly, but like while you're navigating that town, that's below her house, and you're going through, I was reading a bunch of the little letters that the little kids were sending, and then you're learning more about that one guy's story while he's there, you know, and his story versus everybody else's story in the town. And well, actually, I'll say the whole Molly arc period, because the aspect of these kids, and their lives were so horrible that Molly was known for, and I'll put quotes, known for taking kids.
Mhm.
And these kids, their lives were so bad that they were writing letters hoping that she would take them and kidnap them. And my childhood was very, very rough. I won't go into extreme detail, but I remember having that feeling that I wanted to be kidnapped, because I was hoping that a kidnapper would give me a better life than what I was
Mhm.
dealing with. And and that was like a memory. It was one of those things where it's like a memory you forget. You know, you live your life. I'm 36 now, so it's like you live your life, you forget about those things. But when I was playing the game, I was like, holy crap, I had this feeling. I
Yeah.
was one of these kids. I know what this feels like. And it like hit me. I was bawling during my stream, and like it was like it offered a moment for me for healing from something that I had long since forgotten but hadn't really processed or touched, you know, in that many years. And it was such a beautiful, beautiful moment. And it just, I don't know, it made me feel, already I had compassion for those kids, but it made me feel even more compassion for them, compassion for me now, compassion for myself when I was a kid. It was just like this beautiful healing moment. And then tying in the arc of Molly, that's definitely my largest, most memorable moment. And that's why this game is Game of the Year for me, because it offered me a moment of healing from something that I had forgotten I needed healing from.
The beauty of South of Midnight was not limited to the storytelling or the music. It was also woven into the costuming and character design. Listen, I don't pay attention to fashion in real life as much as I probably should. But for South of Midnight, these fits were way too clean to ignore. I love that Hazel's growth as a character can also be tied to her outfits as the game progresses. Laurent is another character who got a lot of love for his character design.
I had a whole moment on stream with like hairstyles with certain characters came out. I was like, oh my god, he has waves, and they're like waving.
When you see, what is his name? He's just the beautiful face.
Laurent?
Yeah, Laurent. Oh my gosh. When you see his face and he's in the bar, and like the swag of that character and the execution, his voice acting, I was just like, oh, yes, I absolutely loved him.
Miss Flood and Rue had some of my favorite outfits of the game too, though not everyone agrees. Who do you think has like the best outfit?
I don't know. Hazel's last outfit is like something I would wear. So I'm gonna go Hazel. I know worst dress, Bunny. I hate that suit. It's like an Easter suit the entire time of the game. I just knew she was gonna change, but she never did.
No, yeah. You know what's funny? I'm like, I totally get you, because I'm like, I personally would never wear that. But as far as like old white Southern lady wear, I'm like, absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
That's absolutely something that I would wear 100%. Nailing little details like the style of clothes people wear, the music that people make, and the stories that were told in this game makes it a uniquely Black experience that means so much to us. Personal question is just, what does this game mean to you? And this, you know, it's very broad, so you can take it like any kind of direction you want.
I think it's gonna be a game definitely on my top 5. Definitely. It's gonna be a game where, like, for me, Last of Us was one of those games where I just kept going back and playing it. South of Midnight, I'm on my second playthrough right now. So I feel like it's gonna be one of those. I keep playing, keep hooking up new things, but it just allows me to feel seen. Because, like I said, I was like, she looks like me. I got some of the references, being country as I am. It's just a really like deep appreciation I have for this game.
I'll start with what does South to Midnight mean to me as a Louisiana native, because I think a lot of times the South is not fully represented in games. Like they set things in the South or whatever. Like I think South to Midnight and Sinners did a great job of representing the South, but specifically with South to Midnight, it was just the fact that they showed the camaraderie of the South, the love that the South normally has for each other, just some of the folklores in the South. Because I know, I think the alligator, like Two-Tom alligator or something like that. I can't remember the name.
Two-Toe Tom.
Two-Toe Tom. I was close. Triple T. Two-Toe Tom. That's a Florida folklore, but I claim it now as Louisiana. But it was just feeling represented as a Southern country kid that grew up in the South, that been near the swamps, didn't live in the swamps, but I've been near the swamps. I've seen how people live in the swamps and things like that. So that meant a lot to me, to just finally feel seen and represented in a video game. I'm sure there's other games that have done it, but for a South of Midnight, I felt really, really represented. And then as a black guy, a black gamer, it's always good to see black protagonists or even just black culture in video games. Mm-hmm. So some of the stuff that Hazel was getting into with her mom, that's black culture. Like the way they were talking to each other, the way they was getting into it, that's a lot of black culture. So I was like, okay, so y'all really got some black people to work on this game for real. Mm-hmm. So that felt really good. And then just as a gamer period, I think the industry today, we rely too much on remakes, remasters, all kind of stuff. It felt good to see a new story being presented. It felt good to see, okay, this game, it may flop, it may not. We're going to give it all. We're going to do all the research we can. We're going to do what we can to make this game good, and we're just going to put it out there. We don't need remasters. We need new original stories that lets us learn more, that lets us discover new cultures or new personalities, things like that. So South to Midnight meant a lot to me, and I'm grateful Complusion Games gave me early access, allowed me to play it before it actually dropped. Like, that was really cool. And so get a chance to do that and then feel so immersed in the game. It wasn't like one of those, okay, it's an early access game, okay, I'm bored. I'm gonna have to act like I was fully enthralled, fully enjoying it, fully mad at Hazel. and just having fun. Yeah, it's an amazing game. I can't say enough about it. I think everybody should play it, whether you do it on Game Pass or through Steam, or I don't know if it's on PlayStation, but if you buy it on PlayStation, whatever. I really do think if you like adventure games that has a great story, this is the game you should play.
What does South of Midnight mean to you? And this could be as like a gamer, as a black woman, or just a mix of the two.
A mix of the two, because I do sit at the intersection of both. And the first word that comes to mind is everything. I feel like even if you were to take out the representation, right? Like, even if I was not black, I'll say that. I feel like the game on it, without the heartfelt, like pulling in the heartstrings, is beautiful. Okay. One thing that I don't like, the people who worked on this game were very intentional. So intentional in such a great way. And this is not to say that no other devs are, but the intention that was put into this game, even to like moments where there would be so many times where the character's outside, she's traversing through the terrain, and I just stopped and just listened. and the sounds of nature in this game. It goes beyond just the score of this music, but the score of the game and the sounds. The audio engineers really did their thing. And like there was another game where I was playing where you're outside for a couple minutes, and I'm like, it doesn't sound as lively as it does in South of Midnight. In South of Midnight, it's actually very lively. You can hear everything. You can hear the pitter patter of feet. You can hear the birds chirping. You can hear the crickets, and you can hear the frogs. You can hear the deer. You just hear everything. And as someone who, as a kid, I would constantly be outside in Florida, constantly outside as a kid. And that's what it felt like to be outside. You're constantly hearing animals and wind and leaves and grass being stepped on. And I don't feel like, for me, that I have heard a game pay as much attention to detail to that, you know, that I've played. And not to say it doesn't exist. Somebody's probably like, well, this game did it, you know. But it's not to compare that. But that's one of the things that I really loved. Artistically, I loved the art style. I am a huge fan of this claymation, stop motion, you know, kind of robotic-ish at moments type of like merge of art that happens. There are times where it looks like you could kind of see like thumbprints on some of the artwork, like as if it was made in clay, but it was like moving, like it was, you know, CG animation, but also stop motion at the same time. You know, like Into the Spider-Verse and things like that. And I love that art style. And then, or that's the animation style. The art style of the game were the colors, the landscape. When you would be outside, and I remember this was in one of those mountainous, grassy terrain areas where there's vines, and there was like a ledge I was standing, and there's like mountains around me, and the sun is peering through and like breaking through the clouds, and it was just so beautiful. It was so beautifully made. So art-wise, like from top to bottom, this game was amazing. The songs, I love the execution of the songs. Like as you're going through each, not really a dungeon, but like each section of the game, and how when you would do things, you'd have either the kids or something else singing parts of a song, just like little parts.
Even just like when you use the powers, you hear like the chorus of people singing.
That the powers, that one's separate. I definitely want to touch on that.
Okay.
Like the aspect of like it, that I want to touch on that. But like the parts of the songs that you were hearing, and then when you beat the boss of the area, and then hearing all those parts come together in the you know, other person that's involved's voice. I'll say that because you're getting two sides of a story, so to speak, in those situations. So I really love that. And then to the point that you made about the sounds, whenever you use the powers, I always felt like it was like the ancestors helping you. I just felt like it was so powerful, like this. It was whimsical, it was a choir, and then sometimes like when you press the button to know where you gotta go and you say Hazel, like they're saying your name, and it wasn't creepily done, it was just done beautifully. Like I felt like being guided by ancestors. And like I don't do voodoo or anything, but like some of the shows that you've seen where they've had like Louisiana Creole voodoo and it taps into the ancestry, it just adds such a beauty to like the aspect of like not the dark creepy stuff that people put out, but like the aspect of lineage and guidance and ancestry and your path that you're on versus the path that you were on and where you're going, and trying to move forward, grow, but also try to follow the guidance and the wisdom of people who came before you. So it's just like, I loved it.
Yeah.
So, you know, first to say, I loved it.
If you still need convincing to play it, consider checking out everyone's unique perspective on playing South of Midnight. I've linked all the playlists in the description below. Please support Black art like South of Midnight. I would love for people to check out like your streams, your playthrough of South of Midnight. So where can the people find that and support you?
Well, thank you. Everything is Luby Games. The Twitch is Luby Games official because somebody already has Luby Games. Working on that one. But South of Midnight, the full gameplay is on my YouTube channel. There's clips on TikTok, Instagram, pretty much anywhere you can find a clip. I posted it. Yeah. I'm very basic. Everything's the same.
All right, good. That makes it easy for people. Well, I appreciate you for giving me some of your time chatting about South of Midnight. This has been great. If the people wanted to find and support you, maybe check out your South of Midnight playthrough, where can they go?
You can go to YouTube, DDS618. My name is. Wait, how do I do it? That way. My name is right there. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, MySpace, Black Planet, all the places. I'm everywhere.
If people want to check out your channel and your playthrough of South of Midnight, where can they go?
You can go to youtube.com/iChristineGames or /@iChristineGames. But yes, you can watch the playthrough there and see all of my tears, joy, laughter, and love.
A huge thank you to Luby Games, DDS618, and iChristine for geeking out about this game with me. I think it's needless to say at this point, but we are very glad that South of Midnight exists.